Hello everyone, this is Evelyn and I have my 4-deck read for you and my 7-deck read on the table. I did use 7 decks today. I have 2 4-deck reads, a lot of information coming up in them, really intense energies today. I woke up early and I went to bed really late last night, so the eclipse definitely woke me up this morning about, it was after 7. And I took a lot of pictures within a minute and a half of the sky. You can check them out on Instagram. There's messages with all of them. I was just meditating a little bit to see if I was getting any visuals for you guys, and I kept seeing a crow watching, and then they were associating the crow with Teddy, my daughter's dog, who's sitting at the front window right now watching out the window for us, and he is a black dog, so associating him as a crow. So there's definitely other stuff coming up in the 2 4-deck reads, so stay tuned. Let's go ahead and take a few deep breaths. So breathe in all of the energy around you. Remember, Mother Nature is not just the earth, but everything around it as well, the ethers, and to breathe in that source energy from all sides of your body, grounding it into your heart, and then allowing it to diffuse out through your hands and your feet and your auric layers, and then send it back to source. But you're not sending it all back to source, you're grounding the energy in your body and just letting go of any negative energies or stuck energies back up to source. Okay, so go ahead and take a deep breath. Another deep breath. And one more deep breath. Sending lots of love and blessings to all of you. I hope you're having a beautiful day. We have another beautiful day. It's chilly here today and very windy, but it's still beautiful. And thank you so much for being here with me. So we're going to get right into the Journey of Love, Metatron, Nature's Whispers, and Shaman Dreams deck, the 4-deck read. We're going to roll the die first, and we'll get right into that. All right, for the Twin Flames on this eclipse day, November 8th, also voting day today, 2022. We have the 11. This first thing that caught my eye, which is alignment, truth, and balance. Also Libra energies there. We also have the Sun, which this picture actually comes up in the read today. I believe it was today, unless I brought that up to you already. And then we have Libra actually here too. So Libra comes up twice, and the Sun right in the middle, right? And there's the target. So X marks the spot came up in my Instagram messages, came up as well. And notice the Libra alignments, right, with the ones upright, and this is like the ones parallel, so the vertical and horizontal energies, like that. So it's like 2 11s around the Sun, or perhaps one of the 11s has connections, or actually there's a little ring, like I'm getting a horseshoe there. It's like it closes it off right there. Oh, that's very interesting. It's like a little nub. I'm also getting like Mr. Magoo, like his nose, like he's hiding, but his nose is sticking out. So there's Mr. Magoo. That's really funny. I wasn't thinking of that. Okay. So here's the first 4-deck read. They're both set up exactly the same way. Sorry if there's any fluff from my sweatshirt or my blanket on the phone. So we have the underlying energies over here. Let me just tune it in a little bit better. I pulled 3 cards for each deck, and then over here I always get extra cards to count, and they've been coming up very low here. So you see there's 1 and 1, 2 and 1 there, So again, Journey of Love, Metatron deck, the Nature's Whispers deck, and then Shaman Dreams at the bottom. I'm going to pull it in a little closer so that you can see the cards better. So there's some really beautiful artwork on these cards. Okay, so let's get into this one. All right, so this was done 9:37 to 9:39. 37, 38, 39 is the King of Cups, Queen of Cups, and Knight of Cups. So a lot of love energy along with the 9 of the Hermit. Like I said, the piles at the end of the decks were 1, 1, 2, and 1, which equals 5. And it's all about 5. I think that 5 came up as the number for this read too on the code line. So a lot of change, expansion, freedom, and vacation, excitement, all those kind of things come up under the 5, as well as romance. And it is the Hierophant, which is also Taurus energy, which is in the North Node right now. Taurus is all about the Taurus and or the Hierophant is all about that commitment, the tradition, societal norms, the traditional Godhead type of energy, religion, establishment, institutions of learning, things like that. So all that energy is coming up. So I was getting Winging It, Christmas Eve, Forward. This was coming up from Gematria, actually. Just had to write that down. So from Gematria, the 1121 number came up as Winging It was number 1, then Christmas Eve, Forward, and then Ms. Ratnaningsh, Pistis Sophia. All right, it's Ratnaningsh, and then Pistis Sophia. And you can look that up as well under the 1121 in Gematria. So the Magician, the High Priestess, and then the Magician again, which also can be Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, and Divine Masculine. So 3 to 1, Masculine to Feminine. The 3 Wise Men and 1 High Priestess. Justice of Completion with Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine in parentheses. And remember, parentheses is just a line the way it should be, right? 2 dots and an arc between. So that was literally how it was coming up here in the parentheses, okay, up top there. Right here is the parentheses and the arc, 1, 2, masculine, feminine, and the number 12 of the Hanging Man, and then the happy face over here as well. So we have happy faces on either end, and then again, I just look like the parenthesis on here. And the 11 and 11. So this is a masculine and feminine, both aligned with their own masculine and feminine, and the sun between. Also, X marks the spot, 0 point, and the target in the middle there I'm getting as well. So the parentheses, and then I was guided to break down parentheses again, which I have done before in the past. But paren, and then thesis. So paren means to pair. So there you go for the twins. To raise, to couple, mate, copulate, to stop, stand up, to situate oneself, parent, relative as well, and then thesis is lowering of the voice, to place or put in writing, with, and of course it goes along with antithesis or antithesis. Affirmation, stress, accented, like in music, stress, accented, or depression, a voice, so either way. And then at 954 is the Hermit and the 54 of the Page of Swords, which has been coming up as universal Mercury and even Gabriel. The underlying energy of the 54 then was the first card. So it was 954 and the first card was 54 in the underlying energy. The Earth Angel, and then the 30 of Silver, which is the sword and the stone energy of the lady in the lake with the sword coming out of the water, and then the moon in the sky, the full moon, which it is right now. The 14 of Assurance, which 14 is the Temperance card of patience and balance, and then the 50 of the ultimate emotional fulfillment, the happy family, and the Spirit of the River. The Page of Swords, Earth Angel, in silver union with Angel, with Assurance of the 10 of Cups, happy family, in Spirit of the River. The Page of Swords, Home, with Assurance of patience and balance of a happy family. At 10:04, which is 10:4, got your message, good buddy. We have the 40 of the Page of Cups and the Void. And prior to that is the 44 of the old Hercules. Here it was coming up as the old man. But the Hercules is her harvest as the feminine side. And the 44 also was coming up as the 52 in the past month, the Queen of Swords, as the same energy. The 44 of the pillar, the Atlas type of energy, that's the Hercules, her harvest, not his. And then the King of Swords, 51, coming up as the masculine right there, before the Page of Cups, 40, which is the Void. And Enki just came up as 40 being associated with them, but the Page of Cups is also that innocent heart, that purest kind of love and that sweetheart. The Void coming up with that, and the 45 of the 5 of Cups, purging hidden beauty, and the 58 of the 4 of Swords, of rest, meditation, and sleep, or laying things to rest, or the 5D connection of beauty here, and beauty rest. The 47 of the 7 of Cups, heaven in your eyes, having synchronicities and lots of choices perhaps confusion, and letting go of that. The soft sweet spot here of the 4 to 7, from the heart chakra to the crown chakra. The 32 of the journey of the devotion to the small, and 32 I was just being guided to the chakras of the solar plexus and then the sacral chakra. The journey of the devotion to the small, right? The sacral chakra of birth, and then the solar plexus of confidence and shining your light, to be an example for the small. The 41 of the Ace of Cups, knowing without knowing, and then the Mary Magdalene energy pulling her weight as the Hercules, and the Page of Swords, Earth Angel, pulling up the blanket. The 13, which is the Death card, in transition of gifts received. The 42 of the 2 of Cups in the blood dance. And again, there's that blood dance was coming up literally as the life and death dance of chaos and control of the 2 of Cups, and the 31, which is chaos again, the Christ flame here, but the old martyrdom flame, the chaos of the heart, the Earth Angel, and the wounded warrior. The first card out here is the Magician, the magic of the 49 and self-satisfaction and getting your wish because you're happy with yourself. The 9 of Cups, woman of light, and the star shining bright from within and can't be denied, Lady Liberty. At 10:23, the Wheel and the King of Wands was the card 48 of the 8 of Cups, and the Void of the 30 of the Om symbol with the crown on top. Remember, the 30 represents the home as well, and the crown is the roof, the retreat of Om and home, and the resting pause. The 12 of the Hanging Man and the Akashic Records in the open book test. So at the time I was doing this, I opened my energy medicine book by Donna Eden, which I've showed you before. My back was burning a bit from my old injury. So I opened up to page 176, which talked about the 6th chakra that can block the 7th. It can pollute it with overflow of hazy mental energy. So the 6th at its worst, when it becomes the tool of jealousies, fears, and greed or power, it plays perhaps unfolding with the 3rd chakra. So again, the 3rd chakra going into fear, and all the anxiety that comes up then can feed into the 6th chakra and cause fuzz. And again, that causes you to believe your own ego's distortion, right? Because you don't want to believe your ego, you want to believe your knowing from your higher self and from source. So, and then acting on them with confidence, but you're acting on your ego confidence, where the wrong chakra is calling the shots, the 3rd chakra as opposed to the 6th. The ego grows by trial and error, and the clearer and more differentiated the 6th from the 3rd, the more you can be the beacon for the ego's development and not the defender of it. The psychic side is the 3rd eye. The pituitary here was being associated with the 3rd eye as opposed to the pineal, and they all work together overall. But the chakra 6, the chakra 6, pituitary, and again governs the hypothalamus, the brain, the eye, and the ears, the center of thoughts and abstraction. And the 6th to the 7th transcend identity. So with 6, you're still dealing with your own identity, and then 7th, you're transcending your identity. So page 178, so it went on through page 185. The pineal was the next, the crown, the chakra, and again associating the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd chakras with your grounding mechanism. Opening the 7th only without grounding your 1, 2, and 3 may be flighty or make you flighty. And then page 180 to 81 talking about working with your chakras. So you can check that out if you'd like to. So again, bringing it back to the functions of your chakra. So then it was 11, 1100, a lot of source energy backing up the 11, which we have in front of you in the dice as well. The yellow of joy and happiness, but I wrote yoy instead of joy, so there's that Y in the road. And then yellow is Y as well. The yellow of joy and happiness, or yoy and happiness, and again the J of Jesus and the Y of Yeshua coming together there. The carpenter, and it was the Jesus card right here, the carpenter bee pollinating the buttercup to release Kundalini, the 35 of the wounded warrior, up to the earth angel, and then 29. Trying to figure out what I noted right above that. But the wounded warrior up to the earth angel, which came up as the feminine, the 29 of the 3 of wands and the blue Madonna holding space. The 29 is the present also for the queen of wands, which is also the omega, but she can be coming up also as the wounded warrior energy here. But she is the omega, so again the om, and then the ego, which is the feminine ego. The om of the home, being home in the crown, of orange, of the orangutan, the ego self, to stretch and release those energies by stretching and lunging with your arms straight up in the air, to release to the earth angel. And again, that energy of the sword and the stone, where the sword is your spine, right? And the handle of the sword is your butt, right? So if you were sitting cross-legged and looking at you from behind, you'd have that little dip, that triangulation up that goes into the sword, but that's the handle right there. And here it comes up as ring handles, as the butt cheeks are 2 circles. And then going straight up, the sword and the stone, the soft holding space. I don't remember writing that, but again, you're sitting on your butt, the soft holding space, and dealing with children, the beauty of children, of serving and blanketing, right? Keeping other people warm. The word and the tone from the sword and the stone, and then the origin of one. So at 11:08, and that's today, 11:08, is the 25 of the Knight of Wands, with passion and love for life, releasing the heart for gifts received, with the 38 Queen of Cups, with the chakra light body, accentuating or activating up the union of the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Cups in the blood dance, with the 41, which is the Holy Grail, the Ace of Cups, and the Knight of Wands, who here it's coming up as the Knight of Wands, whose heart is activated with passion, who loves, and the Queen of Cups, who lights up, being the light here as opposed to the love. The Knight of Wands is coming up as the love energy from the 3D heart, and the Queen of Cups is lighting up from the chakra body, and she came up as 38 and 42, which is the 2 of Cups, which happens to be my soul number and outer personality number, as an example for the Divine Feminine. Reflecting each other in Christ's flame. The Holy Grail tempers the flame. There was one card after that deck, which was the 5, again, of change, freedom, and expansion, of communication. The message in a bottle with a shell, a mouthpiece, a platform for the woman of light, truth, and wisdom, and again, the Statue of Liberty. The message in a bottle with a shell. And the message, now I'm getting the message of the message in the bottle are all the men who have come to America, right, to the New World for freedom, and holding the message in the bottle with a shell. As she witnesses this, she being a mouthpiece, a platform for women of light, truth, and wisdom. At 11:19, with, again, Spirit's connecting with me, the 11 of alignment, truth, and balance, the 19 of the sun, and the underlying energy of the 32, but first was the 21 of the fresh approach, right? After completion of a cycle, thinking about it, a fresh approach to things with the 32 of the journey, to trust your own understanding, your own knowing of the journey, your specific perspective, and the 20 of the wake-up call to higher ground, the rose line. And remember, the rose line is literally another way of saying the quantum leap. It's the line which isn't a line, it's two dots with an arc, which was the parenthesis coming up earlier. The 37 of 3 keys, and the King of Cups, and unconditional love, in the ideal course of action, and 3 keys. The 9 of the Hermit, and the perfect setting, with the 14 of patience and balance, the angel and the higher love of assurance here. That this too shall rise. The journey to wake and love all through a higher love of the 4 seasons of Mother Nature and 4 elements of her earth. The wise feminine 4 and the wise man 3 was coming up here. So 3 wise men, but there's 4 feminines. And that's interesting, right? Because now the feminine is being associated with the emperor and the wise men with the empress. So there's like this flip. It's like a pole shift. The 31 of the chaos of being spontaneous to reach out across the orange moon, the eclipse. The 30 of the adventure mountain to mountain, the shelled across or telephone line. So shells coming up as like the cup you might use about, regarding a telephone call. Bridging your energy in a domino effect. With number 2 in the illumination of the High Priestess Divine Feminine butterflies or the dark side of the moon, which after I'd done this, because I think I watched Sam yesterday, he was talking about there's new people at on the moon. They found that there's some beings there. They called them moon beings like Earth, or moonlings like Earthlings. And he was talking about them on the dark side of the moon, but I'd written this before that. And this card is the butterfly people. It's like a butterfly human carrying another butterfly to the dark side of the moon. So there's an association with that, perhaps with these moonlings. So the illumination of the High Priestess Divine Feminine butterflies, or the dark side of the moon, and the 2 mountains decide to travel together while the fairies connect across the light side on the ground. The angelic chaos on the ground, home field advantage, the 2 divine feminine adventure, 2 omega or illumination, with Mother Nature being patient and crowning. Mother Nature patient with all seasons, not just one, enlightening to omega in the crowning of the 1,000 suns. But in my prior reads recently, it was coming up as for the twin flames, it would be the 3,000 suns, or even 5,000 suns, with 2 cards coming up here, which were 17 and 28 of infinite blessings, and the 28 of the twin flames, but the bountiful harvest. The 17 being the star of the twin flames, the star of Bethlehem, that double diamond energy of them each shining as a star, but then coming together makes that supernova energy. The girls making preparations on the ground now, as opposed to in the ethers, in winter blanketing, with dreams of twins. At 11:36 is the alignment of the 36 of Atlas, the masculine Atlas, of the weight of the world carrying the earth on their shoulders. The 57 with the 3 of Swords, separation and the unmarked trail, the path less traveled. Amazing grace, or amaze, of 2 bookends screwing together, there's a little funny there, in Revelations. 2, the beloved divine feminine with radical acceptance of the heart on fire, and the 52 of the Queen of Swords straddling worlds over the crown, to the 46 of the Six of Cups, innocent children hugging each other, loving each other, and the root girl who had disowned themselves, the stump that wouldn't grow, the 12 of the Hanging Man and the dragon's horde protecting the future, and Lady Liberty and the I Am, close to the happy family, or the I Am is coming up as the Hanging Man, is close to that happy family. The 60 of the Six of Swords in finding peace or peaceful travels, with the totem watchers in the desert and the tie-on of the tiger lioness, the happy family at peace, and the 38 of the many masks of the authentic self of Mary Magdalene and the Queen of Cups, and the 45 of the Five of Cups of repairing the veil with forgiveness and reaping the rewards of purging it out. Weaving the pages together top down with space between. There was one card here as well, which was the 58 of the Four of Swords, the 5D connection of the vanishing mirror. The Four of Swords 5D connect, smashing particles of ego to put all the pieces back together again at 1148. 48 is the walking away within, also the synchronicities and the heaven in your eyes. So 50 and 60 of full heart and full mind came up there. The veiled etheric realm, the Queen of Wands, and the storybook ending that makes you cry, with forgiveness and lay to rest in 5D mirror until the mirror is no longer needed here at 1150, which is the alignment and the 50 of the 10 of Cups, of the emotional fulfillment, the ultimate emotional fulfillment of that happy family, that big happy family. So that was the first one. And then now we go into the second one. Same setup exactly. I'm going to pull it in so you can see them a little bit closer. Okay, so Journey of Love, Metatron, Nature's Whispers, and Shaman Dreams. And then there were some extra cards there, like a PS type of thing at the bottom there, as far as the message. All right, so this one was done yesterday, which was the 7th, which is the Chariot, and also the Key. It's also the Gamma ray, right? Gamma now is forward, but it used to be, I forget what ancient language it was, but it was like a boomerang, like a 7 was the gamma wave. So it's coming up as that, as the Key, the ray, and this day, yesterday, was the 7 of the Chariot, along with the 24 of the Queen of Wands, which today is the 8 of the Strength card in the dance, Manifesting Dreams, along with the 25 of the Knight of Wands, which has come up already in the message. So in the second read, which was done, Journey of Love was done at 11:38, which is the Queen of Cups, Metatron 11:39, Nature's Whispers 11:40 to 41, the Page of Cups and the Ace of Cups. So the first two are the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups, and the Ace, the Page and Ace were Nature's Whispers, and then 11:42 is the Shaman Dreams. 42 is the Two of Cups. And the piles at the end of each read came up to 2, 1, and I wrote 2 in parentheses before 1 and 2 because even though the third deck had 1 card in the pile at the end, it was attached to the third card of the read. So I wrote 21, 2 in parentheses, and then 1, 2, which is perfectly balanced. The 21 and then 12 on the other side with the 2 in the middle or the space between. So 2112 was the number, which when I looked it up in Gematria, I was guided to give you not 1, 2, or 3, but a whole bunch of them, straight up to 27 and 8, and then it skipped to 37 and 47 for all the messages here. And the number 174 was also coming up as very significant. The first entry for 2112 was the survivors. The second was I, Barbello, decoded their demonic matrix and have proof. Number 3 was A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And the number was very balanced there. It was 2424, omega, omega, and then 404. So the 2 4s with space between. And there were 8 hits on that one, which would be 44, 8. So it was very in sync there. The A squared plus B squared equals C squared. The fourth entry was becoming God by using his creation against him may fail. The fifth was come with me, my dear boy. 6 was cross, thorns, crown, and 3 nails, and there's no and. 7 was days of Hebrew learning and reflection. 8 was 5544, which is my number actually, written out. 9 was God is all mine and is better than the universe. 10 was Mary, Jesus, Liberty, as we just talked about. Lady Liberty in Ellis Island. 11 was number 174 written out, and that came up in some of the other numbers as the second number in the gematria. So 174 was significant, which I looked up, and I'll give that to you after this. The 12th entry was only Mykhin, the truth, M-Y-K-H-Y-N, the truth. 13 was Yeshua is jealous for his bride. 19 is do good and be part of a better world coming. 20 was its only desire is to inflict suffering on others, or his only desire is to inflict suffering on others. 21 is I know your secrets. And 22 was where 174 came up again, which was June 20th. That may be a marker for us. June 20th. Remember that number. 23 was Juana Renee Roland. 24 was Pearl, written with a space between each letter in caps. P-E-A-R-L, which is P and R-L. And L is the right angle. And also RL is right and left, so it's voting day, so you know the right and the left, and the pearl and the P. And that was coming up from, I have a message that came up from this read too, I'll bring to you from my meditation I did before that read on that day, the read I'm doing for you now. But Pearl is code name NSA, suitcases, nuclear device. 25 was Rainbow Bridge activated. 26, shifting the focus onto Stephen Nishon. 27 was the new Jupiter. And instead of 174, that came up as 174 as well. The new Jupiter and June 20th. 28 is the twin flames, of course, but that came up as weeping water. And then 37 was I Kubuki with Joe. And remember I said Joe here in this entry because this came up with my message that I meditated on. 37 is also the King of Cups. 47, which is the Seven of Cups, wasn't, I thought it was 174, but it wasn't. It was 147, but that was the New World, but it was 147. So Kabuki is a male Japanese actors or plays, and Kubaki was neutrality or being impartial. None of them came up exactly as the spelling K-U-B-U-K-I, which was in the gematria, so I don't know what that referenced, but those are the two definitions closest to it. Baki also comes up under Kubaki. Again, that energy of neutrality and being impartial. And was also coming up as the grandfather, the remainder and balance, and the uncle, the residue or container. So, and my crystal bowl, I noticed with some of my stones in it, had some residue in it. I don't know if it was just salt but the stones were sticking to the bottom, so I had to go rinse it out, and I ended up putting it out in the sun yesterday. Everlasting was coming up there too. But infertile also came up under the definition, but in regard to old age, nothing else. And it was really funny because under Kubaki, and I was looking up Baki, of course baklava came up. So there was no B-A-K word that was exactly what I needed for Bakiava, B-A-K-I-A-V-A, because Baki is grandfather and Ava is grandmother. So it's the grandfather and grandmother, which together is B-A-C-I-A-V-A, which means to kiss. So this is grandparents kissing was coming up. The Ava Baki is the grandma and grandpa. And then Bakiava was coming up as that's when the baklava came up, and then bakyava to kiss, and then Ada. It didn't come up Ava Baki, but it did come up Ada Baki, and both D and V are 4s. So there's a similar energy there, and that means a quick fix or patching up. So the underlying energy at 1213, which is the Hanging Man and the Death card or transition. The 18 was the first card in the underlying energy, which is the energy of the moon, the 18 and the purple moon. And in this card, it's the distant shores showing 4 moons, or the amplification of the eclipse of the full moon today. The 8 was the second card of leadership, and then the 17 of infinite blessings and the star. And then 8 came up again with the crown games. So we had 2 8s and 17 and 18, which came up with brother-sister energy doing the dance as well. But again, the moon and the stars, and the eclipse, and the leadership, and the crown games, and the need to remove the third 3D crown and open the 5D crown to the higher realms. The purple moon, life, because 18 is also the high energy of life, of the 8 and the 10th Hebrew letters of the alphabet, and then 4 moons. So there's the 4 coming up again of the emperor, and the stability or structure of the home. Again, the full moon of the eclipse today, and the beaver moon, which is the hard worker, and distant shores, which was coming up with the shells that came up earlier regarding Ellis Island and the message in a bottle washing up on the beach with the shells. The cis, again, washed up came up in my read too, which I think that'll come up in this read. So that energy of someone being washed up or feeling washed up, coming ashore to Lady Liberty. The sister dance and the brother dance of 18-8 and 17-8. The moon and the star, the stone and the sword, the tone word, one origin or the beginning. Back to the beginning again. So all of the full moons coming up for the next 4 months, because it was coming up with 4 moons, not only the eclipse today, but then 12/7, and then January 6th and February 5th would be 4 moons. And they are the moons of the cold moon, the wolf moon, and the snow moon. The beaver and the wolf in the cold snow. The beaver still hard at work, and the wolf is stunned, watching or paralyzed by their passions, and that's Teddy and the crow at the window. The emerald green and the indigo blue are also coming up here at 12:21. The first card here was the 45 of the hidden beauty and purging. The hidden beauty of purging, the reset. The 58 of the 4 of swords and rest and meditation and the 5D connection, which is not hidden, it is just beauty. The 9 of the hermit in the heart of God, and grieving or purging at rest in the heart of God. Regretful, sleep, or sleeping beauty, perhaps poisoned to sleep, or in a coma for years, to finally wake up refreshed in the heart of God. So it's refreshed was coming up as like on your computer when you refresh, just like crying is a reset. So there's a reset coming up here. So again, the regretful sleep, or the time you had to go through of grieving or purging at rest in the heart of God, holding you during that time. The regretful sleep or sleeping beauty, right? Because she didn't make herself go to sleep. It was the wicked witch's monkeys, right? The beauty or the poisoned to sleep or coma for years to finally wake up, quote unquote, refreshed in the heart of God as the hermit, the one and the all. God, the G-O-D, the G of the 6th spiral, the golden gate, the O of the human embodiment of source, and the D, which is the arc, the line that actually arcs across, which is also the D also is the symbol for M, the way it used to be written with 2 parentheses and the I in the middle. The I am presence used to be the M, is now the same shape as the D. So the D can be the the D can be the same as the M, which comes up as the DM, which will come up in this read as we go forward. But just so you get that now, so when we go there, you understand what it means. The GOD of the spiral or the golden gate, the human embodiment of source in the middle, or the humans, and then the D or the arc it, and the happy face with the line between the eyes marking the third eye, and the chakra system, the chak ray system of the suffering in silence, or the sister, and systemic things, the stem that supports the flower, the rose, the rising, to give birth to, the clan, and the temple. The chakra also comes up as the chalk line, if you've seen that movie recently. Chak can be chalk, and Ra is the line. The ray, which is a line, which is 2 dots. So the chalk line comes up with the chakra system, and syst, S-Y-S-T, is the sister, nun, or nurse. So the chak ray, or chak Ra, and the sister of the M, which is also the D, which the M is the 2 ones with the V in the middle, the 2 I-M presence is creating together. The 1 equal and congruent to the 2 I-Ms creating. He is the point, she the spiral, the leap while smelling the flowers. He is the hole or the doorway, and she is the hole with the W, the everything. The W, the double hole, as in the twin flame 2-eyed needle of the vortex, or the 2-eyed needle quantum twin flame energy. At 1234, which is the hanging man and the energetic exchange, the arrows of love, is shut the doors and windows, which was reminding me because I had opened the windows, and I guess the lawn guys were here yesterday, so I had to shut the windows because it's really noisy. And Teddy was getting really excited because the lawn guys were here and he's met them before. So at 1237 is the hanging man and the 37 of the King of Cups and unconditional love, and the 3 keys of the wise man, the 12, the 1 and the 2, the masculine and the feminine, hanging out, seeing new perspectives within themselves in their masculine sense and their feminine sense, and the 37 of unconditional love for both of the 3 keys. And it was really funny that lines were coming up, because then I helped my daughter with her lines after that. And when I helped her with her lines down in the basement, a baby mouse came out. And don't worry about the mice in my house. I've been here over 30 years, and it's been an issue my whole existence here. But this little baby I told you a couple months ago, I met a little baby down there. And oh my God, he was so cute. This like a little ball of nothing. And so the same kind of baby was there today. They must be able to fit through somewhere where the mother can't, because I don't see any of the mother mice. But the baby mouse came through, and it was so cute while she was filming. And just casually walked behind the screen and off, and it's plush carpet down there, and the mouse kept like kind of tripping on, like falling off to the side like a drunk would. But it was the cutest thing ever. But they kept tripping up, which was a message for you guys. The 1257 is the hanging man and the 3 of swords, with 2 cards here, the 24 and the 63, which is the Queen of Wands, the Omega of illumination, of enlightenment, and the 63, which is the suffering, the 9 of swords card. The spaces between the words and the light field being fully exposed to the trauma without protection. The boring of the spaces between the words, and the suffering and silence of the light field, of the excitement of being out in the middle of the bridge or in the middle of the storm, right? The storm seekers or chasers. So no words and too many words, again, the polarities, the onslaught of energy after none at all. So again, the energy of like going from the 4 of stability to the 5 of freedom, then wanting the stability again. Implying with space and then taking it the wrong way, thinking the worst case scenario. The eclipse amplifying exponentially the distance felt of the beauty hidden away, the space between the words, with no words to express finding the heart of God, a port in the storm, a word after a lot of space, the beginning of time, word, a marker, a space that end times, and the space the space that end times. So the beginning of time, which of course word, was a marker, and space now is a marker for end times. Word is W or two U's, and then ORD is the origin, the beginning, and space is the pace to ace. So now all these S words are coming up, the sword and the stone and so on, which have been coming up. So here's an expansion of that. So his S word, which S is Sophia, which S is two C's reflecting each other, two Christs, or the whispering benches. In the S wave, she incorporates both the masculine and the feminine. The S, his S word, the sword, Sophia's word, and his space is Sophia to pace and ace. His stone, Sophia to tone as one, Sophia to any, one without human, but to become human, or water, because we are mostly water, emotion. Sophia to him, snow to want, to bite, sting, to take for, Sophia to the waning moon or the old moon, to become. Sophia also coming up as 2 and 4, which is the 24 of we, the spaces between the two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the spaces between of we, Sophia 24, which is also the Queen of Wands, and Omega, the Enlightenment, Sophia to the capital N, which is Christ in my coding, to the river, to the house, to eat, and lip, perhaps. Perhaps that's the kiss. To be, become, person, water, him, and emotion here. So again, the emotion of the divine masculine within both of you. So as I turn the page, which this is a very significant page here, so listen carefully. The sword, the stone, the space, and the stime. All right, because stime is time, space is pace, stone is tone, and S and sword is word. So stay with me here. So as I turned the page and wrote 11/7/2022, I was guided to translate the date. So 11 is coming up as 4 dots, dot, 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 so 2 colons. And then the O is actually a spiral, because there are no such thing as closed circuits. So 6 is the spiral. The 7 is the gamma wave, the boomerang 7. And then the 2, you notice, is a capital Q. It's the quantum leap, but it's got a break in the seal. The 2 and then the 0, which is the human embodiment of source, and again the spiral, and then the 2 more 2 2s. So it's coming up as the Q broken or collapsed onto itself. The human 2 2, so TU TU, where TU in French means you, so 2 U's or 2 2, and the fool with an open heart. All are the definitions for the 222. So the sword, the stone, space, and stime, or word, tone, pace, and time. Stime means a light, glimmer, glimpse, or school of fish. Stime is the light. So we have the sword and the stone, the space, and the stime is time. At 11/7/2022 of alignment. Align is A to line. A dash line, which is point to point, or an arc, as the Knight of Pentacles, or spiraling human with a gamma ray or boomerang. You rang, ghost rang, boomerang, the scary sea nightmare or angry sea call scared me or ghosted me and resentful. So all those things are coming up as boomerang. Or suddenly come back around, looking, coming back around is the boomerang of the 7 for the other half of their heart. the 22 of the Q and A, because the 2 is also a lowercase a written in the formal way. It's the same as a 2. The Q and A is the inquisition here. When the weak sperm tried to get into the egg times 2, they failed and the egg collapsed and was broken, cracked open, and spoiled. So regarding the sword and the stone, the space and the stime, Sophia's word, tone, pace, and time, the origin of one, ace, and I'm, or I am. WT, PT, or two U's, twin towers, seeking balance between twin towers and stars. Origin, one, ace, I'm, or I am. The path of any, or Christ, see me. So it's the path of Christ to see me. And then the last 4 letters, as I reduce it completely, is D, E, E, E. So there is no word in Wiktionary for 3 E's, but D with 2 E's is a child or water, day, or the plural of DEA. It's also the singular of deuce, which is 2, 2 as 1, and the tree, or the stronghold, the fort, to shut or be done, down, want, hope, aspire, yonder and there. There was no triple E words. The only one that came up was death, D-E-E-E-A-T-H. So death without A-T-H is without being bitter, numb, without filing your teeth down and making them blunt. So again, it's being able to die or go to the other side without being bitter or comfortably numb or dead. So D-E-E-E is also a word for the capital letter D, which is the leap, which equals the M of the 2 IMs with the creation between them, which is also the D and the M, the divine masculine. And remember D, D-E-E, is the singular of 2, or 2 as 1. So D, which is 2 as 1, with a third egg cracked open, or third egg to fry, with the arc or the leap of co-creation to the other side of C, which then becomes the S in reflection. Sophia. His S word, his S tone, which Estonia came up there, and his S pace, his S time, and his Sophia word, tone, pace, and time. Without her, he is nothing but a point. To make. A word. In stone, time and space, frozen in time and space, a statue in suspended animation, or her Lady Liberty, LL for short, or capital U, which is the 2 capital L's pushed together, the holiest of grails. And holiest was coming up as the Estonia. Again, the holiest of grails, or God rails, equals the S tone with the arc or leap of the covenant, the sacred contract, the altar of all altars, or other of all others, which is, of course, the one. So Estonia came up, and Estonia is stony with E and A on either side of it, which is also ash, A-E. It's interchangeable pretty much, which means light, bright light in Pleiadian. So it's that bright light with stony in between, but it also references the way 7 is with Eve within the masculine here, within the SN. So Estonia is coming up as that same kind of thing as 7, the Eve in the SN, and then here's the stony within the EA. The S tone of Sophia tone, and the Estonia is IA, so it's Sophia tone IA, or with the chakra system and the human, with connections to all. And EA also is one of the names for Enki, and Enki is Jesus key, or one equal and congruent to Jesus that's key. And stony is to play out of tune, so be off tune, or to stun, to daze, or clash. The holy as stone, or the block, or the hole at 0 point where the egg cracked open and was off key, dazed and confused, stunned, and therefore stunning to others, or clashing with them, again off tune. The holiest stone, the cup of love, God's rail of the heart womb. The plural of estone is estoni. And then esto as well, which is a block or blockage, interference, or I eat, which of course can cause blockages. And again, the off-tune blockage in Enki without E. The holy est one, which also EST is referencing Eastern Standard Time, the holiest one, or East, the holy East one, the holy E stone, the holy S tone, the holy path of one at 221, or 221, to completion of the world. So at 221 to 22, which now we have 222, which is the 2 of the High Priestess, the 22 of the Fool's Journey, and the 222, which is 6 of love, family, and community, and the lovers, back from the shitstorm of the hidden beauty of all beauties, of the heart of God, the one, the all, she who encompasses all, where all is lowercase a of the human with connection to the LL, which is the 11, the 2 colons. The 2 align with space between, which een in between is even, or evening, or one, a certain feminine one, in the end, in the eyes. 2, which is BET, remember BET is also Beth, as in Bethlehem. So BET, right, the second letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and then the W in the middle here, which is the 2 U's, and then the EEN of the evening out of the one. The 2 U's in between of Bet, which means to face, page, or the second letter of the Hebrew alphabet, Beth, which also represents the house of God, and evening things out to the one. Between taking a gamble or being even, odds and evens, odd and eve, OD and EV, and then DV, which is Damnia Voastra. I don't know how to say it, but that's the word. Your lordship, master, you, or the capital U, which equals the Holy Grail, which equals the hole at the Y in the road, the 0 point field, God's rail with the tunnel. And there's that where you see the etheric repeating of the portals, like the accordion or the domino effect. The Holy Grail, the divine, which is the 2 vines wrapped and weaving the gift together, the gift of weaving together and apart, right? Because the 8 spirals together and then goes apart to have space between, in order to have both to appreciate the other more. At 234, which is the divine feminine high priestess, and the 34 of the 8 of wands, the energetic exchange back and forth, the arrows of love, also the 3 and 4 of the empress and the emperor. The underlying energy is the 48 of the 8 of cups, of walking away and within to the Om of the void, the home of the 30 with a roof on top, a house with a roof, or the 4 dots of colon colon, which represent that picture of the 4 of wands, the home, which is also the altar in a Jewish wedding. The altar, a safe place, where the 44 of Hercules is the pillar, the beacon. Beacon means be lighter and shine up. A place to receive waves of grain, God's rain, tears of joy to lighten the stone, the rock, the immovable mountain, etched in stone, the statue, forever lasting, a legacy of what has come before, all in oneness. The planet is a living library of all her inhabitants over time-space. That time is together, space is apart, a role to play as the rolling stone. The holiest stone, a cup of jail I was getting first. First I was getting jaila, and then I was getting jail, because that was a place I was referred to in the very beginning of my journey, as in Jale. But Java was coming up here too, which is the J with Ava, which is grandmother. And I was just getting that Ava's with Jesus. That was a really sweet message. I'll have to tell my my nephew and his wife. So the holiest stone, a cup of Jo, or Java, or Jael, or Jala, where J's grandmother, or Jala, which means net, or to catch fish, to be grumpy, to plant, sow, or to scatter, water, sin, wrongdoing, to catch with net, on foot, she, wasp, or African mahogany, as opposed to Indian mahogany. And Diana Ross, of course, coming up, which was interesting because last week, I think it was, Michael and Diana came to me and said that they wanted to write a song with me. So there's that energy coming up. A cup of Jo, or grumpy, I was just getting grumpy old men, a cup of Jo, or grumpy when scattered, using a safety net to catch a fish with only the best mahogany, or wood, tree, referencing the family, with only the best, right? Nothing else will do, in reaping rewards. So it's putting you in that place of being too comfortable, right? Because you go from the 4 of the stability to the 5 of the freedom, back and forth. That's the dance of the together and apart. So again, when you get to this place of a cup of Jo, or grumpy when scattered, using a safety net to catch a fish with only the best mahogany, or wood, or tree, like showing off how much you have or how much you're worth, or the great family that you have, or status and rewards, the holiest stone equals Sophia's tone, the path of one, to daze or be off tune, or imperfect, amazing grace, humbling self through the labyrinth of life. His S word, Sophia's tone, Sophia's pace, and Sophia's time, or its time. His SSSS word, tone, pace, time, origin, one, ace, I'm, or I am, and finally the road of Christ to see me, which ends up in D, or D, which equals M, or the divine masculine. Sophia within Christ, the digamma F, or divine feminine in the divine masculine, the twin flame. The 252, which is the divine feminine 52, Queen of Swords, the Lady Liberty, and the divine leap of co-creation. The 34 of the energetic exchange back and forth of the dance, and the ancestors in exchange, energetic exchange with us as well, with her harvest, that's Hercules, her harvest, arcing with the 39, Knight of Cups, the emerald green heart healer, with the 12 of the hanging man, or hanging out, the hanging man of the book of knowledge that she holds in her arm, the wisdom to open a page and take steps with flame in right, 3 keys on a ring in left, at 256, the high priestess and the 2 of swords of being in your knowing, to dance spiraling upward. As I noticed, I hadn't looked at the underlying energies from the first deck, because I'd gone off the read from the first card. And it was the U of the Holy Grail. What's at the root of the journey of love? So as we turn the page, at 257, the divine feminine and the 3 of swords of separation, from the 34 of the Empress Emperor, of the back and forth of energetic exchange and arrows of love, of the space between and the energetic exchange of the 2D to the 27 of the etheric touch of light or inspiration or breathing. From the space between, in that energetic exchange of 2D to 27, which is the Ace of Wands, and 2D can represent the space between, right? It's the energy is existing, but it's not existing in a 3D way. But the 27 of the Ace of Wands of ethereal touch of light, inspiration, or breathing, as opposed to aspire or aspiration, which is desire, which is ego. The light touch versus the fire touch. The 23 of the King of Wands, as the Divine Feminine stands in the chaos or in the cyclone of life, in the storm, the wall of the tornado. And again, that was some of the stuff that came up in my Instagram pictures. You have to check them out. And within a minute and a half, it was the most beautiful energies that came across. Across the waters, or the 4 moons that came up, the exponential or the accordion effect of the etheric realms, the 4 moons, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. The 53 of the Knight of Swords and the legacy of light of Christ the Jew. Remember, in Judaism, you are always a Jew according to the maternal lineage. So that would make Jesus a Jew. That Jew, J-E-W, equals je and 2 U's. I am 2. Jesus arriving home after a long journey, perhaps 40 days and nights, or 7 years of half and half, 3.5 and 3.5, or perhaps that was 3 and 4 instead, right? We're not making a big fight over that. An energetic exchange, where 3 is the E in the rolling stone, and the 4 can be the 2 and the 1, which equals the 3. So not equal, the 3 and 4, but close enough, where 2 equal with the wounded warrior, or the Empress and the Emperor in the Chariot. The 40, which is the Page of Cups in days, and the Page of Cups nights of sweethearts, and the Lion's Heart of the 53 Knight of Swords, the messenger of truth, the legacy of light, of riding in that chariot together, and the 5 of the communal dance of the community, gathering around and supporting the egg. Taking the 5, or the Hierophant, out of the 53, the Knight of Swords, then becoming the Empress, or the 3. And then the 15 card came up of the Shadow, where the Mother prays, and the 5 is given to the I am. The Empress and her shadow at the 11/8/22 lunar eclipse, separating out the S from the 53, but it's really the 5. I didn't mean to say S, but that's the way it came out, which is the Sophia. So separating out the S or 5 from the 53 and the 15, which leaves them with 3 and 1, or the Empress and the Magician. The Empress and the Magician with the change between, with the power of community, the dance between the legacy of what's always been and what the Mother prays for religiously. The book ends of the upstanding man and his mother, a mantis being perhaps, so be careful. They may not be of light, and prays in the dark shadows, and the 2 negatives becoming a 33 here, the history or his story of martyrdom. The martyr of dumbing down no longer must be her story, so get smart instead. With Agent 99 of compassion, with the 58 of the 4 of Swords and the 5D connection in meditation, and the 33 of the Christ vibration and the 4D bridge to the other side. The 4 of Swords and the 5D connection and the 3D martyrdom have come to a head at 11/8 eclipse, which is also EC Lips, which my maiden name is C. So that's actually Evelyn Cope, Stainthorpe. So EC Lips was coming up as the Divine Feminine in the eclipse. And then it was saying EC don't watch. So for the Divine Feminine not to watch. So SC, which is Sophia and Christ, she turns her head, which is this representation of EC becomes SC because they turn their head. So then the loop goes around and it becomes S instead of an E. She turns her head. So as the moon energy expands to distant shores, another S word, shores, but this time with whores and oars, or R, which is a gamma ray, getting back to taking steps with flame in hand. The 33 of the 2 rolling stones, and the first card of the dimensional gateway here. An invitation to leave the 3D via the end of 3D, 44, which is like the pillar of what can I say it? the Rock of Gibraltar. So 44 is coming up as that pillar, like the Rock of Gibraltar is, right? Because it's a representation of the country. Even if it's distant from the actual country, it doesn't touch it. The 44 is coming up as that altar from the 3D, because it's still 3D energy, to the 33 bridge, where Christ energy invites you over the bridge to the other side of the 22, which is the 5D station, where you can jump off to anywhere, to the 11 of the 6D if you want, which is instant manifestation. So the 3D 44, and then the bridge via the water chariot so the water chariot is the same thing as a bridge, right, taking you to the other side, to ascend to the Holy Grail, express to the Ancient One, through the heart womb leap in direct connect from the Divine Feminine and God's heart portal, the Christ Holy Communion of communication to Sophia's Holy Grail, of her heart connection directly to Source, or the Divine Masculine travels suddenly to purge at sunset and be held with compassion. Suddenly inner truths of purging to empower at 325, the Empress and the 25 of the Knight of Wands. So at 325, which is the Empress and the Knight of Wands, was the 6th card of the Lovers, or love, family, and community, of clearing the root to flower the crown, for the Lovers to see the big picture of the chaos of life and to be spontaneous to reach out at the eclipse. And it was 11:08 p.m. Why did I write 11:08 p.m.? So the eclipse here was first thing this morning. So maybe 11:08 is the December eclipse. But today's date is 11:08, so that's significant anyway. The 39 is the Knight of Cups, with clear endeavor to end attachment to spring and enjoy the winter, which is so funny because I watched a dolphin tail last night, and the dolphin's name is Winter, who had their tail removed. So again, the clear endeavor of the Knight of Cups to end their attachment to spring and enjoy winter, or Russian blanket of white fur. The 32 of the journey to trust yourself, your vision of when to ground and hug a tree, and to catch your breath from the shadow work. At 329, the Empress and the 3 of Wands, and the 48 card of hope and happiness, of the ocean breeze in your hair, with flocks and crowds around, the rainbow hair of Aquarius, the emotion of laughter, and the 35 of the wounded warrior, and the culmination of their vision, no longer needing to be the victim, allowing the tree to die, with the 50 of the 10 of Cups, that emotional cycle or happy family, in the potent gateway, the magical family tree, with 17 of the star and healing and shining your light, with infinite blessings and dreams come true. It can happen to you if you're young at heart. The 1 energy here, the first card, let me just take a sip of my water here. Okay. So the first card is the 28 here of the Twin Flames, or the choice of path. The Twin Flame Bountiful Harvest, and the 10 of the High Vibe Destiny, to open your heart to that destiny and high vibration with the Swan Lover, after lots of preparations that have now been done, with 2 cards coming up here of 40 and 26, which is the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands. The Page of Cups and Page of Wands showing support and being true to your heart. The Sweetheart and the Lion's Heart. At 342 is the Empress and the 2 of Cups, and the Sky Dancer's journey to the Holy Grail, with the 48 of walking away within, the 32 of the journey, and the 41 of the Holy Grail, the arrows of love, of loving yourself and spiritual love and new love, of the Moon Maiden, of Hercules and her harvest, with the 23 of the King of Wands, Atlas or Ellis, with luck and good timing, the 44 of Hercules, the Raven Peacock on the Eagle's Perch, which came up from Michael Sala's platform, in the Perfect Storm, aka the 52 of the Queen of Swords and Lady Liberty. I was just getting the library here as well. The 43 of the Three of Cups in coming together at the Taj Mahal of overflow and abundance, of overwhelm and plenty at 3, 4, 5, staying alive, staying alive. So John Travolta dancing like that position of the Lady Liberty is staying alive, right? The 3, 4, 5, staying alive of the abundance of overwhelm and plenty. The 20 of the Lady Liberty, and she represents the United States. The 22 of the journey and the fool's embrace of transmuting pain in child's pose leap at 11:8 eclipse, with the 33 and the joyful muse to inspire or breathe across the bridge. And check this out, in a dolphin's tail he told a tale. So they were telling a story of it's on the next page, so I'll wait till then. But it was about the Rainbow Bridge. So the native Indians on the California coast, whose goddess wanted them to move to the mainland. So they built a rainbow bridge for them to go over, but the children, so excited and playing across the bridge, fell into the water. But the goddess was so happy that they were playing that instead of them dying, she changed them into dolphins as they landed in the water. And Spirit's connecting with me. So here is that energy of the fool's embrace of the child, as they fall off the bridge, transmuting pain in child's pose in a leap of faith at the 11:8 eclipse of the 33 rainbow bridge, of the joyful muse of the children to inspire or breathe, and the creative cat with paintbrushes and base. The 8 of the crown games and right use of power. The storm is another S word with torm, which means storm or tower in Lower Sorbian. The tower and the orm, which is the worm or the snake, and the RM of the room, remove, fish, returned missionary to cry and weep, and the letter M, the tower of the snake with room for a returned missionary to co-create together. The crown removed and the crown opened. The 1 of the 51 King of Swords meditating on the bridge with the stars in the sky, or the SKY, so Faye is KY, the energy of the 0 point field, and the K of energy. The 24 of the spaces between, and the energy of enlightenment of the Queen of Wands, or Omega, the Om or home of the feminine's ego, of enlightenment. And stars, the S word of S and TARS, which TARS means shield, or to articulate, pronounce, or say, word. To survive, to calm, the donkey to be, bald and enunciate, over across E-star, to fly, be quiet, or to stand, companion, and a fairy. But Tar also means throne in Pleiadian, so it means thrones, like Game of Thrones. So her thrones, his shield, his sword she wields. So as all these words at 618, which is the lovers, and the 18 of the 0 point field and the moon, the lover's romance, we again come back to all of the S words that have come up during the read. In addition to sword and stone and space and stime, we now have storm and stars. What else came up? I think there was another one. Storm and stars. Did I miss one? Anyway, if it comes up that I missed one, let me know, because I can't remember if I missed one or not. But storm and stars, it feels like there was another one. Well, anyway, sword, stone, space, stime, storm, and stars. So sticks and stones, may break my bones. But here it was coming up, sticks and stones, shield and thrones. The skillful arse, but to awaken to Sophia. Word, tone, pace, time, torm or tower of the skill of the throne, or origin, one, ace, I'm or I am, or I am snake who got burnt, or a worm who's an ass or a fraud, or to join, right? Instead of fighting them, deciding to join them instead. The path of Christ to see me, but it was coming up also as the path of any or Christ, and the holy see me. The fish to awaken here. And then the final is D-E-E-E, now M-S at the end. So deems, like the Redeemer. But also deems means dumb, woman, dame, or maid, right? It's a derogatory term for a woman. But deems also means judges, which also comes up as D-E-E-M-E. There's no actual word that's D-E-E-E-M-S. So, but D-E-E-M-E is pretty close enough. It still means D and then M-S. So the D, which is two E's, is the water or child, the deuce or the duo, the two as one, and the family tree. But the EMS at the end of the word is the he, she, or me and we, the I am to be, the forefather inside as well, the inside man, which my daughter brought up to me last night. And then the smaller, the younger, or medicine here, or medicine man. So again, the D of the water child, but then the EMS, which can be any. It can be the he, she, the me or we, the I am to be, the forefather on the outside, or the inside man, the younger or smaller, or the medicine man, which can represent the shaman. And this is all deems, D-E-E-E-M-S. So at 6:37 is the lovers in the 37. If you can't beat them, join them or deems them. The 6 of the lovers, the 37 of the 3 keys of the lovers, which also represents the 3 keys at the end of alchemy. At Capricorn, the human becomes whole, but they have to pass the 3 keys in order to get to be the alchemist. The 37 of unconditional love, right? You can't fool energy, so you can't fake being in unconditional love. The 51 of the King of Swords, and the 24 of the Queen of Wands, and the Omega, the crowning of herself, the stars in the sky, and the galactic mushroom. So the numbers came out 51 and 24, which are 1, 2, 4, and 5, but the space between is the 3 that's missing right there. And also in the cards, the capital letters were S-I-T-S, which is sits, and then G-M, which is energy, of the limitless possibility, and the divine matrix, which is the mother tricks, weaving mother tricks, peeling back layers to expose the seed, the star seeds, the divine masculine fully exposed, or the mother or divine feminine peeking out from a safe place, the 36 of the Atlas lost in space, with needing, because they have earth directions, which are no good here, with 2 cards attached, so again, not being in 3D anymore, they're no good here with the 2 cards attached of 14 and 18, which is the Temperance card and the moon, or the purple moon, and the 0-point field, and the angels. The angels in the outfield. It's no good here in the 3D and the 5D, right? The directions for 3D are no good here on this planet. With patience with the purple moon and the angelic drifter and Dr. Ifter, and it's so funny with Dr. Oz and all that kind of stuff running, the experiencing of life as it comes, and the eagle eye oracle rising above the fray. And again, 618 was coming up, which is the lovers and the purple moon, or the romance, the lovers' romance. But it's also Paul McCartney's birthday, or under a watchful eye of the military or government could be coming up, or Sagittarius and Cancer, or eye doctor here. So then I stopped to meditate for a minute to get a message from this about voting, like who should or what's in my best interest, what's in the world's best interest, and what came up. Now, mind you, I don't know all the names of the politicians. I have not been following it at all. Right? I don't know anything, and I did a meditation, just blankly to see what would come up. And I have to tell you how it came up. So it was really cool. So number one, Paul McCartney was important because his birthday was June 18th. And I couldn't find any politicians whose birthday was June 18th except for Jay Rockefeller, but I don't think he's running for anything. But, he's pretty old. But he was a senator from West Virginia. So remember I said that. And he was born in 37, again, which is the King of Cups and Unconditional Love. But again, Gemini, because it's 618. And Paul McCartney, which is also 618. And of course, I'm sure most of you know that Trump is 614, I think. And Dr. Oz, who's running in my state, is 611, 1960. And he's actually 62, and 62, the Eight of Swords was coming up. So this is connecting me to Dr. Oz. And then what came up in an article around it, because I was reading a little bit about them to see what came up after I meditated. And it said 62% chance of winning. So 62 is coming up as this Eight of Swords card. So when I meditated, and it was just for a couple moments, and what I got right away, I was seeing like a circle of greenish, yellowish energy with pulsing circles around it coming out from it. So it's like it was like there's kind of like a circle of lizardy energy in the middle, with energy all around it pulsing. And it was, it looked like a lizard energy because it had the little balls on it, but all I could see was a circle with these little green balls on it. So it looked like lizard energy. And then it turned sideways. And the green thing that was in the hole of this pulsing energy, it could be like in a vortex, but I wasn't seeing it in a vortex shape. I was just seeing circles outward, like dropping a stone in a pond. So then it turns sideways, and the green thing comes out of the hole, and it was a long lizard. And it came out with something on its head, like a pumpkin head on it. But it wasn't like an evil lizard. It was like a little lizard that was cute, like the mouse running around in my basement. But it had like a pumpkin head or a coconut head over its head, so you couldn't see what its head was. But it was very innocent energy. It was not evil at all. And finally, the little lizard was able to get it off, and all of a sudden they stand up tall because they were on the ground before when they're trying to get this head thing off their head. But when they got it off their head, all of a sudden they're like, 10 feet tall. And I realized, oh my God, it's Dino the dinosaur. And so I'm like, what does that mean? I'm really politically ignorant, I have to tell you. So I look up Dino, and everything just comes up about Dino the dinosaur, so it didn't really tell me anything. So I then looked up Dino and put politics in parentheses. And so first what came up in the news on my iPad as it was coming up was a picture of Elon Musk in the background. So when I put in politics with Dino, it means Democrat name only, which I didn't know, or in other words, a conservative Democrat. And the only one that came up was Joe Manchin, who happened to be the senator in West Virginia, which the state wasn't requiring people to get the you-know-what for their jobs. It was one of the good states for that. So anyway, I don't know anything about him, but apparently he came up as the one of the articles I was reading quickly was saying that he's like he's unfortunately has now the title of being the most powerful man in Washington, Joe Manchin. I don't know him at all. So of course I looked up a little bit, and he's another tall one. They're all tall, right? The tall ones. He's 6'3", and again, Senator of West Virginia, who's in the news right now because he was just making a comment to the president about something he didn't like, and you can look, I'm sure you've heard it, or you can look it up if you'd like to, having to do with shutting down the coal mines for wind backup. But an advertisement for cachava was coming up as the world's healthiest breakfast. But again, I'm getting the Kachava and was bringing up again the Java and Jala, or jail. And jail comes up in, it's right across from Italy. It's Jail Beach is right across from Italy. That was coming up several years ago, so it's coming up again. But also there was a line that said Forbes deemed, so there's the deems word that came up right here. And then they said deemed justice. They didn't say Joe Manchin, they said justice. Forbes deemed justice to be the richest in state 2018. And of course, justice is Libra energy, which came up twice in the dice today. So, and again, a quote came up also, climate deniers are considered dinosaurs of the modern age. The tallest dinosaur in the world is, get this name, is the Sauroposeidon. Okay, so it's coming up as Poseidon, who's 18.5 meters tall. And they're the plant eaters. That's why they're so tall, because they have those very long necks. So the tallest dino in the world is the Sauroposeidon. Its name literally means lizard earthquake god, and existed Oklahoma, Wyoming, and Texas area. That's the biggest or tallest dinosaur. But Dino also came up because for Trump in two ways. Trump endorsed Dino Ryan Gulen for Texas, and his doorman apparently years ago was hiding, his sexcapades. And his name is Dino, so it's really funny, Dino Sajudin. And then Netanyahu came up for some reason in the news. I'm not sure why, but he was coming up, and his birthday is October 21st, 49, and actually I grew up down the street from the Netanyahus. They used to babysit for us. So the 40 is the Page of Cups, and the group think the innocent Page of Cups. The 1 of a tidy house, which was coming up here as the White House, and the 45 of the 5 of Cups, repairing the veil of forgiveness, grieving loss and regret top down, so the sides are equal. So my guides are telling me it's not so much who wins the race, it's about having the house being equal of Democrat and Republicans, or just, the sides have to be equal. And of course, there's other energies in there as well. A balanced White House. The 62 then came up here, which is the age of Dr. Oz. So it's saying don't worry about what happens now if it's not your wish, because it's about the balance in the house, in the tidy house, the White House. The 62 of the Will of the Wisp. So I don't know if there's a William in there too, but the 62 is also the age of Dr. Oz, and also his percentage of winning was 62%, so there's a reference to him there. And the Will of the Wisp, the treasures hidden in the shadows, with the 2 of the beloved heart on fire, of the 1 of the divine masculine, the 2 of the divine feminine, with the purging prison between, or the purge and release. The 29 of the 3 of wands, the horned cactus who's resourceful, right? The horned cactuses can, live in the desert, right? They're very resourceful. They're very independent. They know how to survive in the desert. And then the 12 of the dragon's horde, of the hanging man who knows how to see a new perspective and is protecting the future. So they're 2 different perspectives, but they're both valid, is what Source is saying. Because it's not about dark or light, it's about balancing toward the middle on both sides and having balance, right? Seeing the polarity so that you come to the center, right? Remember that the victim is in the middle. It's the perpetrator and the savior who are the polarity. It's up to they're not going to give up their spots. It's up to the victim to shift their energy and take their independence back in order to pull the outliers into the middle. So again, the Dinos, they're all the tall ones, right? The ETs, the Anunnaki are the tall ones, right? There's good and bad in all of them. The Pleiadians, not all the Pleiadians are positive, but they're all the tall ones. So the Dino is coming up as the tall, and 618 was coming up. And then and by the way, Fetterman is 6'8", he's very tall. but he had a stroke back in May 22. At 7:59 is the Chariot, and the 59 of the Five of Swords. The Five of Cups sweetheart in the tidy house or the White House regrets release or imprisonment of beloved, number 2, with radical acceptance, being present to flame and keeping it to themselves. So I don't know who that reference is, but you can let me know in the comments if you do. The 40 of the 4 and the 0. The 4 of the 4 full moons, or that accordion effect of amplification, and the 4 moons of 11, 8, 12, 7, 1, 6, and 2, 5. And that also references the 25 of the Knight of Wands, which today is the 25. And the 0, which is the spiral, leading the way with flame in hand, with dreams come true, with infinite blessings, dancing back to integrity, removing the 3D crowns. The King of Swords and the Queen of Wands, Atlas, Patience, Portal, and then Hercules coming up, which is the Divine Feminine Atlas, or Her Harvest, 18, which is the 0-point field. And again, the beginning of Bethlehem, right? Because she is the a safe bet. Because Bet in Bethlehem, and then L'chaim is like to life at the end of Bethlehem. But in Bethlehem, the Beth is the house of God. So her harvest, or the 0-point field of the 18, which is also the Chai, and the hidden, and then that's coming up alongside of the King of Swords and the Queen of Wands, Atlas, Patience, Portal. Along with her 0-point field, right? The angels in the outfield. And I've always brought up the angels at the bottom of the Statue of Liberty. The hidden beauty from the golden martyr. The twin flame bountiful harvest of Hercules, or her harvest, prepares for the King of Swords, who's meditating now in the middle of the 4D bridge, a message of love and beauty in the 5D connection of water to open the heart, or hydrate, to your swan destiny of the long-necked swan, like the dino or dinosaurus, the source of Poseidon. While pumpkin, coconut, or blockheads are hiding in the galactic mushrooms, or cedars. Or the lizard who was a pumpkin head for Halloween is weaning from their halo. Okay, so they could be, no longer being the savior thing, like enjoying being the savior. They realized that there was a problem with that was toxic. The lizard, and that's not saying a reptilian. It could be the lizard, and then the lizard in the While Unknown deck is actually someone who's just really sensitive in crowds because they're empathic. So the little lizard, or the innocent one like Dino, or may have a little bit of reptilian in your DNA, because lots of us do. The lizard who was the pumpkin head for Halloween, or weaning from their halo. And then this is where I watched Sam about the moonlings. And then on the 14th, that NASA was supposed to go up to the moon on the 14th, but Sam was saying to stay away from the moon because the moonlings might act like 3D earthlings and, start a war. So that was coming up. So you can watch his thing. So now we go into the read on the table, which is my 7-deck read. And let me show you that one. And where are we now? 138, which is the Magician and the Queen of, not that one. The Magician and the Queen of Cups, the Mary Magdalene energy. It was just the 54 of the Page of Swords, the messenger, Mercury or Gabriel. So here we have the SIRIAN Starseed deck for the read on the table here. And then I just have to get to the end of my pictures from this morning to give you the whole read. Just give me one sec. There we go. Here's the full 7-deck read on the table. And just focus that a little bit for you. Okay. And so this read was done at 9:30 last night. At 9:04. So I cut the SIRIAN Starseed deck at 9:04, which is the Hermit and the Emperor with space between. And of course, this was for the energy today, for the full moon eclipse. And then at 9:14, so there we have the 9 and the 4 again coming up with the 1 between, which is actually 2 dots, or the leap of faith between the 9 of the Hermit and the 4 of the Emperor. What was coming up was T of crystals. So there's that letter T, which also comes up as the top dog of crystals, which is being Christ-like or purging. And then Y stalls also came up, which Y is the 0 point field. And the stalls. So it can represent the stalling, why they were stalling, but also the stalls of the horse, right? When the gate opens at the 0 point field of the Y, right? Getting to the starting gate. I wasn't getting that before, but I'm getting like on your marks and then line them up. I'm getting all those energies coming in right now. So I finished clarifying at 9:30, which is the Hermit and the home, the union of the 30 and the Om, where the twin flames, the majors were the solar deity and the hanging man, and before the read was the higher self, alchemy, which is the temperance card, and then guidance, which is the Hierophant. There were 2 swords, 2 pentacles, 4 wands, so a lot of fiery energy there, and then the 1 of the cups. So 22 and 41, which is the journey of the Fool, and the 41 of the Holy Grail. So the journey of the Holy Grail, the heart womb to the 0 point field, through the Fool's journey of the open heart, and that quantum leap of faith of the 2-eyed needle, the twin flame push and pull of the twin flame energy, and that double diamond energy of the Star of Bethlehem, of 2 novas coming together to become a supernova. And then the Page of Wands with the Queen of Wands in the read, along with the Knight of Pentacles. Before the read was the Page of Swords, or that Mercury energy. And after the read was just the 9 of Cups, which can be that one who's learned to be satisfied with themselves or got their wish, learning to be happy alone. The numbers here, we had triple 4s, which is the angelic realms, and also double 10s, keeping it really high vibrational, and destiny of the 1-0, and of course computer code. But those were the only multiple numbers, is the 4 and the 10, which is 10-4 also. Message received from the angelic realms. 3-4-5, staying alive, staying alive. So again, the position of John Travolta with the Statue of Liberty. And then the 34. 1 and 2 are here too in a lesser sense, as the masculine and the feminine in parentheses. They wanted me to bring up parentheses, which are the lines that are actually dots and leaps. The 34 of the 8 of Wands, the 45 of the 5 of Cups, the Purge, the 57 of the 3 of Swords, of the separation or disappointment, and that can be bad weather or procedures as well. The 79 of the Pot of Gold at the end of the rainbow for me, and the 9-10 begin again and again and again. Keep coming back to the center or to the heart, to 0 point whenever you go off balance. So, and that's the spiritual practice every day of staying present in the moment, being aware. So the code line was all about abundance and adventure. So abundance or undance was coming up, as well as AD, venture. The number on the code line was number 5. So it's all about that change. But also there's a lot of 4 of stability energy here, especially from the angelic realms. So the messages from the code line here regarding abundance and adventure were as follows. So Social Security may be coming up, as well as safety and security, all of those SS energies, perhaps suffering in silence, or lots of Sophia and salt. And the sine wave. And I'm getting again the sign, the Queen does that wave, is like a sine wave thing. The messages were the SS, like in a ship, the SS Minnow, for example, was coming up as the SS Leap Up, the leap of faith. The SS Leap, or perhaps I'm getting that they're talking about just like the story I explained to you, the falling off the Rainbow Bridge and turning into dolphins, that they won't get hurt. So perhaps the children who couldn't make it to the other side, no worries, right? They're taken care of, right? God's children. So the SS Leap Up and Laugh Up, to see the key of the moral man up, or manning up, again, to let go of his 3D crown. so even or so Phi of reflecting the feminine, and the Five of Pentacles of the lovers out in the cold, or perhaps feeling lonely as the Queen of Wands crowning herself, right? Because she is the Omega of enlightenment, going from the third eye to the crown. As the third eye and crown also came up from the book that I quoted you from, the Energy Medicine. And this is all regarding in the code line abundance and adventure. Abundance, and now I'm getting ab and ad as in your muscles. The abductors and adduction. So again, the balance between, doing exercises outward and then doing exercises inward. The balance in everything here is coming up. Of Sophia and Sophia, to leap to be, courted, so Phi, the lovers out in the cold, the Queen of Wands Omega, which is the Om or home of the feminine ego, regarding the learning to undance, to stop the dance, and the AD venture, the after death venture or adventure. What am I getting? I'm getting undulation with the undance. So to learn to undulate or undance, and there's that John Travolta pose again of the Statue of Liberty. The energy to burn the ashes, the human winter, which is also time, it's not only a pregnancy time, but perhaps time to write, to see the key in seeking one equal and congruent to the child, the moral man manning up, who's now so Phi in recovering with the Queen of Wands, or the enlightenment, the Omega, regarding the abundance and adventure. And I'm getting, instead of not the ray, but the re of abundance and adventure. So the ray of one equal and congruent to the other. So at 10:05, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the 5 again, of change, freedom, expansion, and the Hierophant. It's also romance and fun and vacations, excitement. The SSFO, or of the Happiness Hotel. So FO can be the foe, but it doesn't have to be. It has a lot of positive definitions too. But the foe is also the capital F of Digamma, and the 0 of the human embodiment of Source, the twin flames. So the SSFO, or the ship of the Digamma human flames, the Happiness Hotel, seeing the key of the moral man manning up, with so Phi out in the cold, and the Queen of Wands regarding abundance and adventure. So we start this read with the 4 of Swords reversed, upright. So again, the energy, and this card here on the bottom right there, the big card on the top, is in this deck is someone sitting on the beach with their back facing us in the card, and they're thinking on the beach, taking a break, contemplating, but they're thinking. It's as opposed to totally being in their heart. The 4 of Swords is upright, and below that is the Page of Swords, the higher self, the 6 of Pentacles of sharing, and then the Alchemy card and Guidance card, both reversed. So the Page of Swords message to the higher self to share their impatience and lack of guidance in their 5D connection. The Page of Swords with a secret gift, or a secret and a gift, and in need of patience and guidance on their break, to be still and meditate and rest. Again, for the master to learn how to be still and not be stressed out all the time and keep going, going, going. And then I'm getting gone, like in an auction. It's going, going, it's gone. The Page of Cups, in lacking faith, in one with big ego, third party or bad influence here. The 9 of Cups upright, happy with themselves, coming clean or getting clean, or cleaning up their act or their space to recover with other. The Page of Cups message of love or puppy love, perhaps embarrassed by the idea of a non-friend or bad influence arrogantly wanting to come clean and get back in or take them back in an instant. With the King of Cups upright, with unhappy family or loss, trying to end the nightmare of the wounded warrior, to be happy with self or by oneself, and share and be strong and stick their butt out, or again, put their butt on the line. A need to fight for as the Knight of Wands, rushing in with the weight of the world and coming clean about the shame and guilt through the desert 40 days and 40 nights to come back into their life. And now I'm getting Michael saying, it's making me want to cry. I'm sorry, Michael. She's out of my life. She's out of my life. Damned indecision and foolish pride. I can't remember all the words. And it cuts like a knife. She's out of my life. So that was coming up. By the way, I saw the Jackson 5 in concert. I think it was their reunion tour or something like that. And that song was so powerful. So again, the Knight, and that was supposed to be sang to Diana Ross. The Knight of Wands working out to clean up their act, or hiring a trainer to make them feel better. Perhaps at the beach, perhaps jail, beach, or just on arrest or arrested in jail. Somebody must be going to jail here. Thinking and thinking how to digress, only stealing away their happiness. Sunshine the one, dream girl, the hermit going crazy, coming out to end the nightmare. How to feel worthy of their abundance and grace, or their day in the sun to be single again and finally get some rest or peace. With Sag, Leo, upright, not Sag. There is Sag upright and reversed, and Aries is upright and reversed here too. Pisces is upright. Taurus, Aries, Capricorn are reversed, and Virgo reversed. And then heart-to-heart conversations was coming up for the twins, and beneath that was a retreat. So at first going away, perhaps to find that peace, and then heart-to-heart conversations to be had. And I just watched again what's it called? I don't know why I can't remember this name, Notting Hill. Can't remember that name for anything. And it's partly my brain, but I can never remember. It's like New Orleans, like something simple I can't remember. But Notting Hill, I just came up. And she says there are still words to be said. And that's the same energy that just came up here. So again, to feel worthy of their abundance and grace, or their day in the sun to be single again and finally get some rest or peace. The heart-to-heart conversations, and before that first, a retreat. And I'm getting cours, in French, heart is coeur. And that's what I'm getting, the heart-to-heart. I didn't mean to write coeur, but I did. It's conversation. So silenced for a codependency, who may be refusing to wake up or refusing to get out of bed, and that can be kids as well. The Queen of Cups is upright, loving the Emperor upright, or over his head, adoringly looking down, a stunned Emperor with trophy wife getting all the light, while Barbie's in the basket, in Animal House, in her Mary Janes, or drunk again, while he could be with the Queen of Cups upright. The Emperor is at the spa with his passion fruit or pomegranate on the floor, in the green environment of the 44 of her harvest Hercules, and beneath that the individual of the 11, the alignment, and that leap of faith of 2 with space between, and being aligned with that. The struggling to get out in separation or disappointment, tempted by the Holy Grail, with the world upside down, with the divine feminine in the 5D, or the need for closure here, or to complete a cycle with justice or divorce, with or from dependent or negative past, or difficult or dependent child, or finally with justice from a dependent ex and or kids, or powerless to falling out in the past, tripping on the stairs and leaving throwing stars around, and having to pay out to satisfy a negative past or childhood, or misdeed, perhaps. Or Libra having to pay a lot to support unhappy, ungrateful kids, perhaps who are like their partner. And again, that could be addiction or codependency wise. And then we have Capricorn and Libra upright with Pisces reversed at 11:03. Again, the alignment and that Libra energy of justice. And the 3 of the Taurus energy with space between them. And the lychee fruit was coming up too. At 11:04, again, justice and the Emperor. Missing soul tie and the need to come clean, stressed out Emperor with green environment or dreaming of her harvest. With the 4 of Wands and the Ace of Cups reversed, the house or the union or a big party or wedding may be overwhelming here or pushing them to their emotional limit. And that can be emotionally or financially or spiritually or feeling dumped on because of it. And then going forward here is the deception or then needing to be up really early. As the Devil or Ball and Chain or Capricorn, Queen of Pentacles reversed, with Capricorn or Pisces in their chart, awake to the Magician, Lover or Gemini, or Cancer reversed, Capricorn upright, and Pisces reversed, with a Gemini or Virgo upright and Gemini. There's Gemini here no matter what. Or Capricorn, Queen of Pentacles reversed, or Gemini or Virgo Lover may be draining draining the Hermit or draining in Hermit to find in Hermit mode to find peace at 11:11 with the Page of Cups, the sweetheart or the puppy love, the dream girl Hermit third party, or the Hermit is coming with the Page of Cups, and that could be a child or a message or a pet perhaps. But Aquarius upright may be a bad influence here, or partners or parties all the time rather. But the party is over, it is unstable here, or the home, or they're moving, taking a visit, or went away and the kids wrecked the house, or the partner wrecked the house with their parties or their drinking or whatever. And now they're uncomfortable or unable to leave, or maybe they never got to go on their vacation because they can't trust them at the house now. Or in a homecoming, the place was a mess at 11:14, which is justice and the 14 of the Patience card, right, of the patient angel or the fallen angel. So the recent past here is the 10 of Swords upright, an ending pain or in a painful end. And again, that was referring to the dolphin tail, the painful end. Present, getting over loss or regret, an energetic exchange with the King of Swords upright, seeing synchronicities or heaven in their eyes, or having lots of options to end pain or get a massage, or just end things altogether. The Dark Knight upright, to the Queen of Swords, and she then speaking to the Empress reversed about the High Priestess or sister, or the 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community secrets, with the Queen of Cups upright receiving a love offer from the King of Pentacles, Star, facing fear of confrontation with the Emperor, with a sideways glance at him. The world is complete with the Chariot, or Pisces and Cancer both upright, at work, starting over with twin flame, or starting a new path, but realizing that nothing's been coming in. The foundation here is the Hanging Man, awake to new information or decision, to work really hard to move to peace or a place of peace, taking the 10 Wands and offering 2 as options. Awake to clarity of Atlas with twin weighing on them, and the decision to find peace in someone leaving or moving or taking a vacation, or giving one last chance or choice. It might not even be a chance, it might just be in trying to help, giving one last choice. The central energy of the solar deity being upright here, alert or alerted in the sunshine after resting, and there's that energy from a dolphin tail again, right, where they found the dolphin washed up on the beach, and again there's that washed up energy. So alerted in the sunshine on the beach after resting. I'm getting life's a bitch, or I'm getting like the drink, sex on a beach. There's also, so like, beach stuff coming up around that. So alert in the sunshine, or some kind of alarm after resting, now wide awake with the wounded warrior healing, washed up, defenseless, and needing to be taken in. The King of Swords upright at work, and the Queen of Swords is upright, with Scorpio upright and Pisces upright, and the Queen of Swords upright speaking to the Empress reversed wounded warrior, and an aide or a nurse who may be healing, or a sister perhaps, of the 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community of abundance, with the Queen of Cups receiving love, or perhaps condolences from the King of Pentacles, healer, and defensive Emperor, who may be firm in their position and giving the dirty looks to the King of Pentacles about this. The Knight of Swords is upright, the Nine of Swords is reversed, and the Knight of Cups upright, challenged by the Five of Pentacles reversed, recovering from exile, injury, or illness. The Knight of Swords, messenger of truth, may be lecturing the Knight of Cups about their safety. You know how kids never like to listen to that stuff. And this could just be a partner, again, lecturing someone about their safety to end their worry about the Knight of Cups, trying to energize the Hermit to recover and come out of the cave, bringing good news to the Divine Feminine, Pisces, or world. The Knight of Cups is offering love, being strong but defenseless to deception and the need to get up really early, perhaps to care for an animal, for kids, or perhaps a parent who needs caring, or Leo, or taming their inner beast, regarding big love and the dream family, where the Hermit is coming out after missing their flame, and that ended right there at 12 on the dot, double zeros behind the 12 at midnight. So you know what happens at midnight when Cinderella turns back into a pumpkin? As we talked about Pumpkinhead, they couldn't get the pumpkin off their head. That's really funny. And again, it's taking me back to the little mouse who looked like he was drunk, walking around on the carpet. It was so cute. Kept falling sideways to one side. So perhaps the Chariot didn't fully change back to a pumpkin. It's like the machine to change them back into 3D broke. So it didn't change them back into a pumpkin, but the pumpkin's still stuck on their head. That's so funny. It's okay, Teddy. Shh, I'm not finished yet. So at 12:01, which is the minute after midnight, the fallen angel and the Queen of Swords is upright here, getting over loss or regret, and the King of Swords with the Eight of Pentacles working to align with the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community of abundance, with the Page of Swords message in a bedtime story to the Page of Pentacles, or perhaps work with the community kids, or the Page of Swords upright and the Page of Pentacles reversed, perhaps in need of help, with a deep connection, or perhaps they came together or camping together. And this is where that story came up, and it's the Chumash tribe in a dolphin tale, so the native Indians from California. And again, what I read about this was there's been at least 11,000 years on the California coast of some kind of native tribe there. The goddess was Hutesh. So the goddess built that rainbow bridge. That's the story that I told you. And the children fell off but were turned into dolphins so that they could play forever. And so now here is the Three of Wands upright, being present to flame, and the Queen of Wands reversed, tired of work with lack of affection, or tired or pissed off of wanting or working, or waiting or working, with X or without option, withholding or saving for a new life of peace or travel or boat. And that could be someone who says boat in another language. The Knight of Cups, that could be both. The Knight of Cups upright here is offering love to stay, even though it's uncomfortable for them to stay. The Page of Swords is leaning on the truth, or having their butt examined, or saying to somebody, kiss my ass, or trying to get attention from the King of Cups, who's upright, in a split with the Queen of Pentacles reversed, who's with the King of Wands upright, to end the nightmare. Perhaps they're done flirting with everyone. Or the King of Cups is withholding time, money, and effort, as long as the Queen of Pentacles reversed withholds the truth. So again, playing games. With the King of Wands upright witnessing all of this to move to peace, so perhaps getting a mediator involved. Without reunion or no service, the end, no more conflict or competition. I was just getting compensation as well. No more longing for the past or remarking on how it used to be. Perhaps the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, always were calling really late. This could be someone whose family is overseas or something, and they're always calling really late at night and waking up the kids, and then creating grumpy kids for the parents. And then the Page of Pentacles reversed may be needing help or refusing to sleep together or refusing to sleep in the same room. And soon here is the Four of Cups reversed, coming in off the island, wishing on a star, to be released from the Emperor, and for them to let them be themselves for once and hold on to what they have left. Perhaps a press release, and that's bringing up Notting Hill again with the press release and her at the meeting. Perhaps there's a press release. Would you perhaps consider staying if this chap had changed his mind? Perhaps a press release, or the Knight of Swords delivery, or the Emperor releasing 4 coins for the Knight of Wands to rush in with the Page of Swords helping, perhaps a fallen angel, or a really ill patient, or losing patience for when, or losing patience for the wheel to turn in their favor with their partner or soulmate, right, that never happened. With a lot of options, right, someone with a lot of options but they never made use of them, or so the Queen of Wands reverse is released from jail or anxiety if the Page of Swords and Knight of Wands go in and start over again with them, perhaps give them a chance or go visit, and that can be kids or pets. The twin flames are seeing themselves as the Ten of Wands or Atlas energy, that energy in this deck of leaving the wounded warrior behind of the Nine of Wands, working hard to complete the cycle. Lovers moving to end conflict, or the party's just over with the Devil or the Ball and Chain, or the temptation of Capricorn, Page of Wands reversed, who's frustrated or perhaps rejected sexually. Sharing, charitable, or settling out in a bold move to receive new passion, growth, or creativity from a divorcee or someone who's spiritually outside the box, in a wake-up call or making an announcement or call, trying to get people to save themselves. At 12:30, which is the Hanging Man and the Union, or the Home, or Om, to keep an open mind, calling in your soulmate, and trust. Where Atlas is leaving the wounded warrior behind. Around the twins, or how they're seen, is the Page of Wands reversed, uninspired or bouncing off the walls, and that's Teddy right now, perhaps with addiction or codependent behavior issues. With Gemini, Capricorn, Cancer, and Aquarius upright, but Taurus is reversed here, and so is Libra. The unhappy family with a negative past or childhood, or having had a falling out, ending an emotional cycle at the workplace with injustice or divorce counseling. At 12:34, or 1, 2, 3, 4, shut the door, the Hanging Man and the energetic exchange, the hours of love, the block here being the Queen of Wands reversed, agreeing to invest in getting themselves help, with adventure and abundance, and the Five of Pentacles, recovering without an olive branch, or in other words, doing it on their own, not needing to depend on the person who doesn't want to be with them anymore, or do it on their own. The Magician may be hangry with barmaid, trophy wife. There's 2 different trophy wives coming up here. One is the one with all the light shining on them. The other one's this barmaid with beer being poured over them. The beer drinker, or stripper perhaps. Just one sec. The Knight of Pentacles upright, proposing to start over after all the drama. The Knight of Swords coming in with the truth. Okay, just give me a second, because I don't know why the front door is and I have to let my daughter in. Just one second. Sorry, I'm so important. Okay. Come on, come on. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Sorry, thanks for waiting. Okay, so the two knights here with sudden changes and or events keeping them apart. Now the Knight of Pentacles is proposing to get the Divine Feminine to open up their heart, or come out with them. Withholding time, money, and energy, or saving or playing hardball now with the Divine Masculine's heart in the Batcave, surrendering to all that is to be happy with themselves and get their wish of rest and 5D connection, but in real life. On break or at rest, or laying to rest, the Hanging Man awakened to burden as Atlas leaves the wounded warrior behind, the Page of Wands reversed and the Queen of Wands reversed in a painful end, or the Page of Wands dealing with a lot of pain, exposing all, or on vacation, challenged by the Hermit coming out of exile and starting over, with the Queen of Wands reversed present to flame, or her gift to flame is the Knight of Pentacles upright proposing to the Divine Feminine's heart at the E Tower, coming out withholding with the Divine Masculine's heart so that he will surrender to all that is in order to find self-satisfaction. Sharing or settling out, losing patience without guidance or in a divorce, or on break or at rest, ending pain or in painful end with the Six of Cups reversed awakened to sunshine or exposure, challenged by the Hermit coming out of the cave or exile, with a gift or a present or to be present to flame. Atlas working hard to start over and not be an island to themselves. With the Page of Wands and the Queen of Wands both reversed, the Knight of Pentacles upright is offering help to the Divine Feminine to implement a plan to save for the Divine Masculine's heart, to surrender and be happy, to get their wish, and to lay things to rest. At 12:49, the Hanging Man and the Get Your Wish card. So there is your read today. I just want to pull a quick energy card for you guys. Let's see what comes up with the energy cards. Where are we? We're at 2, 10, 42, 41, and 42, which is the Ace and Two of Cups. And the 210 is the Divine Feminine and the Destiny, the Wheel of Fortune, the high vibe. And it's 4:37 on the other clock, which is the Emperor and the King of Cups, which he often comes up as the King of Cups. Or again, this is the King of Pentacles in this read, leaving the Emperor behind. The Emperor could be the King of Cups, could be the same person. But they are both upright in this read, the King of Cups and the King of Pentacles, and the Emperor, if there's 3 of them. All right, so what is our takeaway from this read with the Libra as the bookends, or the 11s or parentheses, the parent thesis, and the Sun in the middle? Look at that. What were we just talking about? The King of Cups, 37. The third chakra, Archangel Chamuel. And again, the third chakra we talked about as well in this read. And it's about showing your confidence and shining your light. And, yep. And the masculine allowing perhaps his third chakra to be taken over by his sixth chakra to pull him out of his ego mind. And here we have the 26 of that hostility energy of the masculine, that Page of Wands energy, 26. But the I can't remember if the Page of Wands was upright or reversed in this read. What did I say? The Knight of Wands is definitely upright. Where are you, Page of Wands? When you're looking, that's the one. I've seen them all. Now, the Page of Wands is reversed. So there is this hostility energy. It could be a child, right? Because this is coming up more as the masculine energy. And there could be a child who's having difficulties or showing anger issues. But this also can be the child that's still within the masculine, being in their third chakra as opposed to their sixth chakra. That could be coming up because the Page of Wands is also that fiery energy, more fire or ego. The 28 here is the, again, this is the 28 of the Twin Flames and the Statue of Liberty, very much coming up here. This is the energy of Caesar, Julius Caesar, and July and August, right? July and August are both Caesars, Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar. And that's coming up. And again, the energies of Rome, but also of Independence Day of the United States. And again, the Cancer energy of July. But August is coming up too, which is Leo. And so this is coming up as Leo energy, right? The Lion's Heart, the 26 Page of Wands. And again, the heart of the Twin Flames. So this is like the couple in unconditional love with the heart of the lion and the peace of the Twin Flames in victory. The Lion's Heart. So the sweetheart and the Lion's Heart in conjunction with each other become the unconditional love of the King of Cups in the Twin Flame victory of Lady Liberty and Ellis Island, of coming to America. And then we have the sweetheart here. So it's just confirming that. So this is like the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands over there. And the bottom of the deck here being, Page of Cups is upright though. And here's the goddess of the moon, the 52, which is, again, Lady Liberty. 52, Queen of Swords, holding up the moon as Hercules. And then here's the community below that of the 7 of the gamma ray, but also of the chariot, also of water, the water vehicle, the emotional vehicle of community. And this could be some kind of events for the holidays that people are getting all dressed up for in the community, but just representing the community of women here. And the Cancer energy of home, right? Of dealing with children and home and just the love at home, coming together, doing each other's hair. And then the goddess of the moon, of romance, of Lady Liberty, of John Travolta, and staying alive, staying alive. Again, holding up the moon, while the Divine Masculine lets down the weight of the world. Okay, so definitely has some powerful energies there. And again, these are the 4 that came out as she's holding up the moon as the feminine, and the eclipse energies today as well. And this very much of the sun, he's shining his light. So instead of holding the world, he's shining his light while Hercules, takes over for a minute, right? And Atlas, to be in unconditional love, to deal with energies of anger or impatience or frustration. And again, the wielding of the sword, which can be the masculine in the feminine or the masculine. And then again, finding victory in the twin flame choice of path. And there's that July-August energy as well of happy birthday to the country I'm getting as well with Lady Liberty and Ellis Island. And then the angel of love, the sweethearts. The 49 of getting your wish. Here's the 2 pages. Here's the twins coming together. And this is the twins together in unconditional love. This is really beautiful. There you go. Okay, I have to go do your other reads. I still have 3 more signs to go. Sorry I'm late about that. But we still have Leo, Virgo, and Libra to do. And so remember your water, your rest, your joy, your nature. Follow your own guidance. Ask for help when you need it. Breathe. Rise and be love. Love and rise as you have risen. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.